You have to be strong enough to endure these things. You have to approach women. With today's social media, she's constantly being hit on. Women are always in the game. You have to stay focused. We are men. That's what we do. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. I haven't given you a weather report lately. Today it's a beautiful, partly cloudy day, kind of cool here in Missouri. If you don't like the weather here, stick around, it'll change. We have a variety of weather, anywhere from 30 below zero to 110 degrees. At least that's what I've seen in my life. Today's topic is going to be keeping it real. Many times people only share their successes, and you see people that are really successful and you don't realize the failures they've endured to get to that success. You see guys with beautiful women and you don't know what they had to go through to get there. Do you think they just walked out one day and said, I think I'll date beautiful women, and just went and started talking to them and they went with the guy and it's been happily ever after ever since? No, that's not the way it works. You see a guy who you think is a natural, he's not a natural. There are no naturals. They used to call me a natural in the boxing ring. I never considered myself a natural. I never knew that I was even considered that until later on after I quit and people told me that. I always thought you were a natural. They didn't see the hours and hours I spent running, working out, sparring, mentally visualizing what I wanted to be. I was not a natural. Actually, the first street fight I got into, except for when a kid beat me up when I was about 8 years old, I lost. And I had several other street fights that I lost too. I won a couple, got the best of a couple guys, but I never really learned what it was to be in a fight, a real fight, until I got in the ring with people who knew how to fight. And they used to beat the shit out of me. I would get knocked down 2 or 3 times a week. But I kept going back, and eventually, guess what? I didn't get knocked down anymore. And it's the same way with women. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get shot down. You may get humiliated. But that really all happens inside of you. But if you keep trying, if you keep getting back up and pressing forward, you too one day will be called a natural. What brought this on? Let me tell you a little thing that happened to me this weekend. I had this girl flying in from another country, supposed to be here Friday night. Everything was going pretty good. Of course, I paid for the ticket, and it was cheap, fortunately. Only about $600, which was really cheap. So it wasn't a real good flight, but it was okay. So everything was a go until the day before. But then I got confirmation that morning that she was coming. So the flight went to Miami and then had a layover there. So she left the night before. So I sent her a message the next day. I said, hey, how was your flight? No response. So I'm supposed to pick her up at the airport at like 5:30 here in St. Louis. So at about 3 o'clock, I said, did you make your flight? No response. And I saw that she was online a couple times. So I thought, well, that's the deal. But I had sent her like $100, excuse me. I sent her $150, $100 for travel expenses, and then $50 for, she had to take the COVID test before she could get on the plane. She had already showed me she had a visa. She had her COVID shot plus 2 boosters. She showed me all that. Usually when a girl does that, because I've done this before, actually this was probably the 7th or 8th time I've flown a girl to either meet me or flown her to here to where I live. Never had a problem, but 1 out of 7 in bed. So anyway, she stuck me. So she might have got a couple $100 out of me, okay? and I got stuck for the ticket. So what are you talking, $800? So there you go. So I lost 800 bucks. If you can't afford to lose 800 bucks by taking a risk, then you don't need to be messing with the high-end girls anyway. Now, some people say, oh, well, she just wanted the money. Maybe she did. What about the other 7 times that I actually did meet with beautiful women and had a great time with them? I actually had a relationship with one of them for over a year. So that's the way it goes. If you think a woman is not interested in what you can do for her, you better think again. We've grown up in this society of believing, society of believing in romantic love. Oh, you're going to fall in love and she's going to want you with all her heart and nothing's going to matter but the love. Well, I've been married 4 times, had some successful years during that time too. Now, do you think if I would have came home one day and said, you know what, honey, I'm tired of working. I'm going to sit on my ass. You pick up the slack. Think she would have stayed with me? Hell no, she wouldn't have. And do you think your woman or the woman you plan on being with is going to stay with you if you can't provide for her? This bullshit about being equal is bullshit. That's exactly what it is. She doesn't want you to sit on your ass and not do anything. She wants you to make more than she does as far as money goes. She wants to be able to depend on you. And if you can't do that for her, she is never going to respect you. Yeah, sure, she wants a man also to make her feel a certain way. But a man who can make her feel a certain way is usually a man who can protect her and provide for her. I mean, you know, we got the Chads that just got out of jail and the women go for these guys. But even those guys give her a feeling. And these women usually won't stay with a guy like that for very long because he can't provide for her. There's a guy here that lives in my town. He used to be a state patrol. I think he's still involved in the government somehow. He's a badass, okay? This guy always had women, and his wife is beautiful. They've been together for, 40 or 50 years. I mean, she's like 67 now. She actually taught me when I was in high school, typing. And she still looks good. She's taking care of herself. I mean, and this guy, he's still out there doing it. He's in his 60s. Maybe he's even 70 now. He's rough looking because he's been in a lot of fights. But this guy's been a player all his life. But he's provided for her. He's protected her. Do you think she would have stayed with him if he come home one day or he got hurt and didn't want to work anymore? I doubt it. She was attracted to him because of who he is inside. The strength he has as a man, his ability to get other women, his ability to provide for her and to protect her. So if you think some woman's going to love you just for you, you're sadly mistaken. You quit providing for her, either that's a feeling, financial support, or both, or one or the other, she'll leave you. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can have this fantasy, this Disneyland fantasy of living happily ever after. They never show the rest of that story, do they? After they kiss and fall in love and they marry. But the point I'm making here is, yeah, you can go out and buy sex. That's not what I'm talking about. I hear a lot of guys today talk about, well, who's supposed to pay for the date? If I ask a girl to go out, or I usually don't ask her, I say, hey, we should meet, or we should go to Aruba, or we should go to Cancun, or we should go to the Bahamas, or we should go to San Andreas, we should go to Paris, we should go to the restaurant there in town. We should go. You're not asking a question. You're not telling her what to do. You're suggesting that you should go. That way you can't get turned down. Try that sometime instead of saying, would you like to have dinner with me? Will you go out and have dinner with me? I'd be honored if you'd eat with me. Or some simp-ass shit like that. Okay? You're the man. You need to lead. So if you ask a girl out, don't wonder who's going to pay. You're going to pay. And if you can't pay, you don't need to be taking anyone out. You don't need to be spending time with women. You need to be spending time getting your shit together, getting your finances in order, and putting yourself in a position where you can take care of a woman. I don't give a shit what they say. They want to be taken care of. They want to know that if they get pregnant and are going to have a baby, they don't have to work. Contrary to what the narrative is in the West. That's what they really want. I'm not saying there are exceptions to that rule, but in general, that's what they want. For thousands of years, Since the beginning of time, men have been protecting and providing for women. Do you think that's going to change with 60 years of women's lib? No, it's not. We have created, and I say this all the time, an illusion in the West, especially in the United States, that women don't need men. Men are the ones that maintain this illusion, this structure, these systems that provide for a woman without needing help directly from a man. Think about that. If a woman doesn't work and gets pregnant, she can go sign up for welfare. She can get housing. She can get all kinds of help. She can even get free schooling, free college, okay, because she's a woman and because men have set up these systems and they maintain the systems. Let all the men quit working, and what do you think would happen to society? It would fall apart. Who maintains the electric when the storms come? It's men out there in the storms and the danger. Who builds these high-rise buildings in the cities? Men. Who builds the highways? Men. Who works on the oil rigs? Men. I'm not saying there's not a woman or two there, but when you see a woman out in construction, she is not doing the heavy work like the men. Now, like I said, there may be exceptions to the rule, but that's way less than 1%. So these women cannot maintain the society we have today. Now, I'm not belittling women, but that's just a fact. No more than we can nurture and have a baby, contrary to what the new Netflix show is, where the man's pregnant or whatever that bullshit is. No, it doesn't work that way. I know people call me misogynistic, tell me I'm from the 13th century, etc., etc., but that's life. The reality is not TV. It's not sitcoms. It's not the movies where this 104-pound hot-looking babe is kicking these 240-pound special services guys' asses. That doesn't work in real life. Look at the deal where the UFC fighter was a man and then he transed over to a woman. And he was in the ring beating the hell out of these girls before anybody knew that he had transitioned. It wasn't because of his skill that he was beating these girls. He was just manhandling them. Men are biologically stronger. They're just made differently. We are. It doesn't belittle women. Women have a power that men will never have. Feminine persuasion. And that power has been belittled here in the United States. Look how many women throughout history have been behind great men. And also, look how many women throughout history have been the fall of great men. It works both ways. Now, who's running the show there? Maybe she's not running it directly with her masculine strength, which is what they try to tell women in the States now, to use their masculine out there in the business world. If a woman shakes my hand like a man, all that makes me feel like she's just pretending. She's not a man. She's never going to be a man. I will never respect her like a man, but I will respect her like a woman, as a woman. I will respect her feminine power, which is great. It's a great power. Think about, the Trojan horse, Troy. Look at that story, how that is. A woman was behind that great war and many other great wars. Men have sacrificed their lives for women and children. Men have done terrible things for a woman, to have the love of a woman, a feminine woman, and men have done wonderful things. They've built great works of art. Let me see, the Taj Mahal. He built that in, in reverence or as a result of his love for his wife, which had passed away. Actually, he almost broke the country. Okay, now why did he do that? Did he do that because she was a masculine, dominating woman, a strong, independent woman? No, I doubt it. He did that because her feminine power had overtaken him, had seduced him into a love that was that powerful, that he really couldn't let go of, even after she died. So we each have our place in society. I know that pisses some women off, but we do. I'm never going to get pregnant, right? Okay? I know that. I don't think. Maybe they'll come up with some new technology, but I hope not. And a woman is never going to get me pregnant. She's going to have babies. I'll never have a baby. She can nurture and love kids and actually love me in a way that a man will never know how to love. Does it make them weak or less than? Of course it doesn't. We each have our certain abilities, which we are inherently designed with, if you want to look at it that way. So it's not about belittling or thinking anyone is better than the other. It's not men against women or men are greater than women. We need to work together, and we need to recognize how to work together. I mean, we have a lot of guys out there that just hate women. They're done with women. And then we have women out there that are fed up with men. But it's not the men, and we don't need to be that way to each other. We need to try to understand each other and don't categorize everybody. Okay, I guess I'm kind of doing that because that's the way things work, but don't think just because you have one bad woman or two. I've had a few, but look at yourself. How did you lead it to that point? I know with my own experiences in long-term relationships, I became complacent. I quit leading, and I would just say things like, oh, you know, she wanted to go out, and I don't care. Wherever you want to go is okay with me. They don't want that. They want you to lead. They want you to make decisions. You know, and I quit doing that. I became complacent. Then the disrespect starts. And I think King Dre has something about the 10 levels of disrespect. And that is spot on because I've experienced many of those. Not to number 10, but close. And you can see where Will Smith, the problems he's had. You think what happened there with Chris Rock was something that just happened just out of the blue. No, this has been something that's been going on for a long time. And I've been where Will's at. Fortunately, it didn't get to the point to where I was beating someone or trying to hurt someone else, another man. So, but I understand that. And we don't know what she might have on Will. You never know what she has over him to where he is afraid if he does not submit to her, she could ruin him somehow. Who knows? Maybe even put him in jail. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's true. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm saying it's possible. So try not to judge him because you're not walking in his shoes. He is a great actor. He's a great man. You know, he seems weak in what's happened, but you never know. I've been in a situation where I had 6 kids. I was supplicating to my wife at the time because she was going to take all my kids. I also happened to be in another country, and I was in trouble in this country, and she had that over my head, which I've since cleaned up, and we're all buddies here now. But she had stuff over my head that could have got me, and she used that. So it's very important never to let a woman have power over you. Never reveal everything to your woman. Now, some people will argue with that. Oh, you need to be transparent. You need to be vulnerable. No, I beg to differ because women can get so emotional at times that they make mistakes that they regret later. I've known women that threw their husbands in jail because they got in an argument with them and they told the police things that weren't true, and then the next day they're trying to get their husband out of jail because they feel badly for what they did. Okay, but then it's too late. The state's already picked it up. Now, I know that's happened. Personally, I've seen that happen to people, okay? I've seen men be beat up by their wives because they're afraid to, well, fight back or leave because they have kids and they love their kids. But I'm telling you what, you have to get to the point where she cannot use anything on you. If she got 6 kids like I did, I had to walk away from my kids in Mexico. Well, I walked away from them in Latin America and I came through Mexico. I never knew if I would see them ever again. But you have to be willing to do that. And guess what? When I did, she's calling me saying, or no, I called her and told her I was leaving. And she said, how can you leave me here with all these kids? I'm like, you won't let me see them. You're trying to throw me in jail for something I didn't do. What is the point? So I left. Guess what? Today I have all 6 of my kids. She's been out of my life for 11 years. She had like borderline personality disorder. She was diagnosed with that, wouldn't take the medicine. Okay, that's a common thing for women. BPD, those different things, bipolar and BPD, yeah. So that's not unusual. But when they know they have something on you, like you love your kids and you'll do anything for them, a lot of times they'll use that against you. And you say, well, that's because you had unhealthy women. Well, there's a lot of unhealthy women out there. If you can find a woman that's been raised by a good mom and dad in a healthy relationship, I'll guarantee you there's still some problems there, because we all have issues we need to deal with as we grow, and it helps us become valuable to other people. When we overcome these things, we can share that with others and help them. And that's what life's all about, is service. And that's why I'm here for you today, is to serve you, to pass on what's been passed on to me, to pass on what I've learned through life's experiences. That's what one of my old mentors told me long ago when I was over there crying and whining about some girl dumping me. He said, when you get big and strong, you'll pass this on, the knowledge that he gave me that day to get through that time. Pass it on to others like I'm passing it on to you. And I still remember that. We were sitting out in his yard, and he had just had me bury a letter I'd written to my ex-girlfriend in the garden, in the dirt. So it was symbolism, and it worked. I got through that, and I was able to become wiser and stronger and better for it. Although I didn't feel like I would be at the time, but he helped me. And that's what I'm here, is to help you. All right, and today I'm gonna get out of here and go do something cool, whatever that may be. I don't know what this day has in store for me or for you, but get out of the house, get out from behind that screen, and go out and have a good day. And if you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me on my website at marksinspiration.com. Remember, like and subscribe, and have a great effing day.